All right, the laser class. Reaching in for lunch. There's Jimmer Montgomery. Couple-time high school national champion in the early 2000s, Coronado High. So Jimmer's working with these guys for the Turkey Day Clinic. Piper Holtis in the orange boat. Good sailor. Okay, let's see if they got the drill figured out. Pretty much every drill your coach teaches you are drills you can do on your own without a coach. One of them is the windward mark rounding drill. We go starboard tack for 30 seconds, port tack for 30 seconds, and then drop the kite, and then race back up to the windward mark. So what we practice, we act like we're racing, but we practice boat handling. We practice watching the water, watching the puffs, knowing if it's getting lighter or windier, before and after tacks, knowing if it's windy as we go around the windward mark. All these things that are in the boat, kind of decisions that are based on what we're seeing out of the boat. We practice it on our own with no other boats. We can't race all the time. We have to do smart practice as if we were racing. This looks pretty good. Vang's still on. You can see the bottom of the main is pretty flat, but that just means leave the main out a little more. If the vang's really loose, the boom's in further. Okay, so they should have been jibing a while ago. That was longer. Don't go too far. It's 30 seconds on starboard, 30 seconds on port. And it's also an endurance thing. You do this 6, 7, 10, 12, 15 laps, you start to get tired. And a lot of people want to take breaks after 3 or 4, but you don't really start learning anything on these drills until you've done 6, 7, or 8 really good ones. Good save there, Harrison. I mean, this is outstanding for folks that have only been sailing the boats for a few weeks. So Harrison should be dropped. By staying on the wind a little better. But there was times on this upwind where we were letting the main sheet out. This is not windy enough to really let the main out. You're pretty much main boned and then maybe an inch or two, but as soon as you get a puff, the skipper uses their shoulders to flick the leech a little and fight the boat down. So you don't just hold the main totally steady, but sometimes you do. Sometimes you just leave it. The skipper leans out, the boat gets flat, skipper sits back. You don't just sit still on a 29er and the skipper all the time. So what we did better that race is we stayed on the wind in the light spots. We didn't foot off. A lot of people get in the habit of footing off because they sail in really gusty conditions of North Bay or Glorieta Bay or La Playa Cove. You get used to heading up in the puffs and down in the lulls, and you don't go down unless the jib luffs. This is a good race. Okay, kind of filming into the sun again. Caleb Payne's home yacht club, Mission Bay Yacht Club, San Diego. Caleb Payne went to the Olympics in Brazil in the Finn and got a silver medal. So this is where he grew up sailing. Okay, you're gonna get a bad air spot. Good, now let go of the tiller. Tack slow. He just let it go. You let it go for a little too long, but that was pretty cool. Boat doesn't always tack itself. Bang off. Okay, so we did the windward mark rounding drill. Now we're doing leeward mark rounding drill.
Can we do some racing?
Not yet. Do this drill like you're winning a race and you're trying to gain more. Or you're in second and you're trying to catch him. You gotta do boat handling where you are focused on boat handling. You can't always race. This drill is a drill round the leeward mark. Go for 30 seconds on port, go for 30 seconds on starboard, put the kite up, come down. There's two reasons for it. It's an endurance drill and it's a very short course boat handling drill. I don't want him to get all the way to that white buoy. That's too easy. I mean, almost anybody could get the spinnaker up and down cleanly in that space and have time to take a breather. So here's Kelly. He should be getting ready to go downwind right now. Yeah. Okay, last races of the clinic. Only 3 boats left. And Anton and Jack flew through their jib. Oh, I guess the pin was favored. I tried to set it square. I failed at that. Windward gate, windward finish. Try not to ease the main too much. Tell him to lean his shoulders out if you're dumping it. The wind does not look good ahead, so just be steady. The wind looks, what I meant by not good is it didn't look like it was going to build a lot. It looked okay. Going with a short course now. So the leeward and windward mark rounding drills, not all that well done, are called one buoy drills. All you need is one buoy to do them. You use the windward mark, you use the same buoy as your windward mark, then you switch into the leeward mark rounding drill. You guys didn't quite grasp what that was all about. Just remember, we can't race all the time and think we're going to get much better. We do have to have individual and group practice sessions mixed in with our racing. Otherwise, we will not improve quickly or enough. This is a great race. So the races are very short. We just practice for short races with those 2 drills. Up, Kelly, up! Head up, Kelly! Good. He stayed down too long. Down, Harrison, down! Right there. Good job, buddy. Sorry to yell in the camera right there, but that's perfect. We want the boat to come downwind. We want the boat to be max power. Upwind max power, and we overload the boat. Downwind, we want to have as much power as we can. You didn't pull it in far enough. It's a really wet kite. This is the gate. Little too much roll, not too bad. Very good smooth turning. He should be going upwind right now though. It's better to be going 0 knots at the buoy upwind than to go downwind. Every foot you go past the buoy is 3 or 4 feet to get back to that same spot. So So right now these guys are winning pretty much every race. So we're gonna watch what they're doing. My deal is that Kelly's very stable, tries not to move the rudder too much. His jib is, it could probably come into the spreader tip a little, but I think it's fine. See how steady he is? He's just not steering much. Playing the main sheet a little. He's not bearing off as the boat gets flat. Okay, they thought that was a header. Okay, and we're gonna film the other guys. That was not a header, so he got tripped there. So the last couple days he's just been steadier as a helmsman. He just keeps the tiller straight, barely turns, and right now he's perfectly pooched inside the boat there. Yesterday he was on the rail hiking, not having to move as much as the other skippers. Sorry Harrison, I caught you at a bad moment. These guys have been doing great. I mean, they are almost first this race. Okay, let's give them a chance to get settled in here. So Harrison could be sitting on the floor with Colin out, but they didn't lose much. Considering how bad the wind was right there. These guys have had an outstanding 2 days. Oh, is that somebody grabbing that spinnaker, or is that thing just gonna... We might have a race on our hands. Kelly just missed out on the wind. The wind is getting very fickle now. These are unusual 29er conditions. We don't sail in flat water and kind of gusty stuff. These guys are pretty darn close. They're slow. They're just flying. They should jibe now. These guys are just parked. Oh, darn. If they would have just filled it for a second. All right, good job, guys. Last race home. Let's make sure we put the boats away perfectly. Stay high. Sit in, Harrison, in. Stay high. A little heel to leeward. Stay high. Little heel to leeward. Good job. All right, that's the last video. Good job. Really good group, 8 kids.